Hello, everybody. Welcome to IST 110. I'm, of course, Professor S, and this is today's lecture. Anyways, what we're going to do today is I'm going to mention something about the group contract. I'm going to talk about common Office apps, and then we'll talk about creating a survey and what that's for and stuff like that. So anyways, as far as mentioning the group contract, that's something that we're going to work on Wednesday. So I'm mentioning something just to say we'll talk about it later. But no, really I'm going to give you some time to work on it. On Wednesday, it's the next part of the group, so we're going to establish roles and that sort of thing. And something to look forward to on Wednesday. All right, so anyways, as promised, common Office applications. So first one is word processing. Now, word processing is one of those things that you use a bunch, but it's kind of hard to define. I mean, think about it. Like, what makes so Microsoft Word is word processing, right? I mean, there's other examples of it, but it's there. So, what sort of things make it a word processor? So, definitions that I saw is that it formats text that refers to the document, such as margins, text size, bold text, italicized text, colors, columns, etc. Right? You can underline, you can bold, you can check spelling, you can even add graphics and add format how the graphics work with the text. But like other things do that too that aren't word processing. Anyways, popular word processing programs are Microsoft Word and Google Docs. You probably use both, and actually you have access to them both as college students or Penn State students. Now, just because you can edit text does not make it a word processor. For instance, Notepad and Text Edit are not considered word processors. So Notepad is for Windows and Text Edit is for Mac. I'm not sure if what kind of formatting Text Edit can do. I'm sorry, I don't really use Macs that much, but I know that I know that Notepad for sure is not. It's just creating text documents. It's what it does, and just because you can create text files does not make it a word processor. Oh, another thing too that a lot of word processing has done is collaboration tools. I didn't say that explicitly before, but the idea is like what I'm talking about with collaboration tools are not just like working on them simultaneously, like what you can do with Google Docs, and then some Word you can do as well. But the thing is like you can leave comments and keep track of changes. That's considered a collaboration tool that's in Word that's been there for years and years and years and years. But anyways, so Microsoft and Adobe have some software that's very that does a lot of similar things to word processors. I believe WordPad is considered a word processor, so that's Microsoft that you have access to. If you have Windows, at least. But anyways, Publisher and InDesign are both of the same vein where it's very much into formatting, but it's not something that you would write a college paper on, right? So really those are more along the lines of for creating flyers or magazines or things like that where you're formatting the different columns, like where you need to format the columns. It's the Word is more for, like, as far as college is concerned, writing papers. But Publisher and InDesign, it's about creating. I mean, the thing is, it's like they're not really considered word processing, but it does a lot of the same things that Word and Google Docs does. Another thing is OneNote. OneNote is a Microsoft product. It's designed for keeping notes. It's a note-taking software. But the thing is like if you look at the definitions for word processors, OneNote might be considered one of a word processor because you can format the text, you can change the color, the size, the font, like all those different things. But it's not, if you use it the same way, you're going to be, as you would for a word processor, you're going to be, it's not going to be as effective. The thing is that it's designed for notes. So you don't have to keep creating Word documents. You just create another page within the software itself. And then Acrobat, that's definitely formatting for documents, but the idea is it's designed so that for the most part you can't change what's on the document. I mean, there's some exceptions with forms, where there's PDF forms that you can fill out, but the idea is like you're adding to it. You're not really changing the structure of the document. And I mean, there is some things that can help change, like depending upon the level of Acrobat that you have, you might be able to change the documents. But really, the whole point of PDFs is to create these documents, these PDFs, so that they can't be changed, right? So that it's consistent, so that when you create it on your computer, that same format will come up on somebody else's. And the thing is with a lot of just normal word processing documents, so like docx, doc, or whatever thing that you're using, it could be different on another computer. But PDF makes it one step closer to making it consistent as possible, so that you don't have to worry, so that it's consistent. That's what it's going for. But I'm only bring that up to signify for how difficult like it is to define what a word processor is. It's kind of like you know when you see it, but it's hard to say when it's not it. Kind of like the definition of art. It's like, well, I know that's art, but what is really art? Anyways, so another thing, spreadsheets. This is mostly something that kind of came up with the PCs. But it's coming from elements that have kind of existed. So anyways, definition of spreadsheet software is electronic worksheets composed of rows and columns. It's essentially software used to create tables and manipulate data. Again, kind of vague, but it's a weird phenomenon. Microsoft Excel and Google Sheets, probably the most popular used, but not the first. I don't want to get into what's the first, but the idea is like you create tables. You can like have it just have static values, or you can have cells calculate things with formulas and functions. It can also use to create charts, which is the graphing component. And it works well with other Microsoft products. Well, Excel works with other Microsoft products like Power Automate, Forms. There's some other ones, but the idea is it's a table editing software is essentially what it is. Now, something else to keep in mind is that a lot of things that you might use Excel for could be used in other places. And one of the great things with these spreadsheets is the versatility with it. Just like with the word processors is like the versatility to create the papers. Though you could do a lot of those things in other software, it's finding it's using it the right way for this. So like for instance with spreadsheets, they can do other things like help with doing the calculations and that sort of thing, but there's statistics software that is designed specifically for statistics that you might prefer over Excel, right? Or financial information. It might be nice and easy to start a document in Excel, but really keeping track of finance might be easier in financial software. That sort of thing. Like it's very versatile, and that's like a great selling point for it. Keeping track of data, that's essentially a big part of what it is, but depending upon how much data you're looking at, it might be beneficial to look into something else like database software or something like that. Anyways, what we are going to do to kind of get a better feel for how to use some of these technologies is that we are going to create a survey and essentially people are going to take your survey in the class and then you will present the information in a presentation. Now, so what does that mean? So first of all, you're going to create a survey, and then what's going to happen is people will take your survey. You're going to use that data in Excel to come up with charts and stuff like that. And then you're going to put those charts into PowerPoint to kind of present the information and kind of like make sort of meaningful conclusions with it. Now, when I say meaningful, we're not going to do anything super dramatic. It's just getting used to using these tools with each other. Okay, so what that means is, as I said, you're going to be creating a survey, and this is going to be through Microsoft Forms. So use Microsoft Forms because the idea is you're going to be using the forms that you created in Microsoft Forms to for Wednesday. So for next Wednesday, I want you to create a Microsoft form, and then that's it. Like, create a Microsoft form, and you're going to have at least 2 questions on there that are going to be either multiple choice or ranking, something along those lines. I don't want it to be adding text to it to say, what's your first name, and then the person types in their name. It's not going to be as helpful. I want it to be multiple choice or ranking, and I'll go over what that looks like in the forms, how you get into it, that sort of thing. But just make sure you have that form ready for Wednesday, when I will, on Wednesday, I will give you information as to what you do with that form. So you're not turning anything in before Wednesday. Just make sure it's ready so that on Wednesday, you just go, okay? All right, so let's get into Microsoft Forms now. All right, so what you first need to do is go into your Office 365 account for Microsoft, right? For being a Penn State student, you have access to it. Once you log in, what you're going to do, so I'm already in Forms, but the way that you go into it is you go into the app launcher, and then Forms will be one of the choices. So you select it, and you go in. And you can either create a new quiz or create a new form. It doesn't really matter. Since it's here, I'm just going to do new quiz, because why not? So you create a new quiz, and then you type in the name. So I want this name to be the best survey you have ever taken in your life. It doesn't really matter what you name it. The important thing is like people are going to take your survey in the class, and you'll take other people's surveys. The description of the survey, something fun for my favorite class, right? Because let's be real here, it's a favorite class. All right, so then now what you're going to do is you're going to add a new question, right? And so you have choice, which is a multiple choice, text, which is a box that people can enter in information, rating, that's where they rank it, like how many stars. There's a date option. Really, there's a few things that you could do, but really you want it to be either multiple choice or rating. So make sure you have 2 questions that is one of those. Okay? Don't really use the text, don't use the date. That's not going to be as helpful. So I'm going to start with choice. So let's see, what's going to be my question is, what is your favorite season? And it could be spring, summer. We only have 2 things, so we need to add an option. Oh, look, it's being smart, so it knows that I want to do fall and winter. Neat. And then what I go from here is I could put in points. Is like, since I put quiz, I can say the point value, but I don't want to. All right, so the next question I'm going to ask, kind of related to it, is, maybe I want to know when their birthday is. And then so there's 12 different options for that, but I kind of want to make it closer to 4, because the idea is like we're going to be using these questions to kind of to connect the different questions. So the closer these questions are kind of related, the better. They don't have to be. They could be 2 completely different things. the causation doesn't really matter, but I think it'd be interesting if we could see some correlation and maybe insinuate some causation. So like, what do I mean? So like I could say like, what season were you born? And so thinking about, we could do spring, summer, fall, and winter. See maybe if there's a connection between people that have spring birthdays, summer birthdays, fall birthdays, and what their favorite season is. So the thing is that you need to have at least 2 questions here. I have that. Let's see. Maybe I could use the rating system. Let's see. How would you rate the last movie you saw? Why not? And then I think that's good for now. So anyways, that's what you have. And then you can also change the theme. Let's do this weird thing. All right. And to give you an idea of like what this looks like when it's done, you can go into preview and you could say, all right, my favorite season is fall. I was born in the fall. Last movie I saw would be a 4-star and submit. Okay. And then what's going to happen is you can view the results. Oh, go back to this and notice I have a response because I filled it out and I can see what people entered. People, like, so far it was just me, so this is what I have. And so eventually what you're going to do is you're going to post this for the class to take, and we will do that on Wednesday. You're going to post your thing on Wednesday. So there's nothing to turn in yet, but there will be on Wednesday. Okay? And it's going to be using the share button here. But other than that, once you have your questions, you're good. So just make sure you have those questions for Wednesday. Okay? Anyways, that's it for now. I hope you found that helpful. And I will see you all Wednesday. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please press the like button. It lets me know I'm doing something right. If you have any questions about any of the content, please send an email through Canvas to both me and the rest of the teaching team, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Do not send it through normal email. You will not get as fast response. If you have any suggestions for how I can make these videos better, please leave in the comments below. Don't forget to roundhouse kick the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified for when I post the next video. Anyway, I think that's good for now, and I will see you all next class.